Greetings to the doctoral students here in the DMIN project design experience in the summer of 2023. Can you believe it? There are only 3 weeks left to the summer semester. And that means to the 897 summer experience. We are in a short series of 1-week modules. And so tonight I wanted to be able to stop by and launch into module 6 in week 12. Give you a sense again of where we are. Of course, our focus now is almost entirely on the final proposal, although we will have a discussion of the HSR process and a possible additional Zoom meeting, which will be unscheduled, but one that I'll let you know about as we get closer. So in terms of week 12, our theme is the first proposal draft. And that means that you are going to begin working on the entire final proposal structure, those early short sections, the major sections of the summary of the literature and the BTH foundations, and then the final short sections. We looked at them in some detail on Tuesday night using the annotated template, and also had an opportunity to discuss the use of the blank template. I'll mention a couple of brief things about that in this announcement, but mostly all of that material is available to you in the recording of the 4th Zoom meeting. We have some excellent resources for you for Module 6. We have, again, the great book By Sensing. This week, I'm recommending chapters 7 and 8 in the appendices. We have the proposal template, both the annotated, again, to review the details, but the blank one for you to put your content in. There are sample dissertation proposals. You remember, they're not models, they're samples. And also, it's okay, I think, to look at a sample completed dissertation. If you want any more examples of that, I'm happy to send them to you, but try to reduce the number, because some students just want to go in and copy what they see, and everyone will be different. And so what's important is to follow the structure as presented by the template and as presented in our class so far. In terms of where we've come from, as you'll remember, in week 8, we worked together on the BTH foundations. I'm finishing up some of that work for you in order to have a final version of that document that you can simply copy and paste into the template. We had a discussion in week 9 on project design, which is all about the research instruments you would like to be able to use to collect data. Week 10 was the student profile, which is a very, very important opportunity for you to reflect on your Doctor of Ministry program experience. Week 11, then we followed up with a research methodology discussion. As you recall, of course, that is all about the difference between qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods when it comes to how you're going to use your various instruments, because you can have an interview or a survey or whatever it might be, and it can be qualitative, it can be quantitative, depending on how you structure it. I recommended for you at the beginning of week 11, you review some of the PMIN897 documents underneath the module section that seem to be relevant to what you hope to do going forward. And of course, here we are in week 12, so our focus will be on the first draft proposal. Here's just a very, very quick review of what we took some time to look at in some detail on Tuesday night in our Zoom meeting. Your chapter, in fact, every chapter of the dissertation will begin with a short section called Overview, where you're providing essentially a transition into that chapter. And so this will be an introduction to your ministry project, really an introduction to the proposal, which will, of course, eventually be chapter 1. Then you have a short section called the Statement of the Problem, where you are not only giving your statement of the problem question, but you're amplifying it. Why is this an issue for you? How did you come to accept your statement of the problem question as to being the target that you're aiming at when it comes to your research. Then we have another short section called the rationale for doing the ministry project. So you're explaining the significance of the study. This is where you can provide some additional background information in your situation. And remember, from Tuesday night, you will need to specifically address these 4 questions. Why are you interested in this topic? Why is there a need to address the problem? Who would benefit from your research? What gap in the research literature are you addressing? You feel like you haven't found the specifics that you're looking for in the literature. To be honest, your dissertation will become part of the scholarly literature. And so it's important to identify which piece you hope to be able to provide in a unique kind of a way. There's another short section on the limitations and assumptions. Every formal academic writing has this, where you're clarifying the scope of your research, what you're researching, what you are not researching. And then you are, of course, stating at the end that your perspective agrees with the statements of faith as they appear in the Regent School of Divinity catalog. That's just because they're the ones publishing ultimately your work. So we include that as well. And then some very short concluding sections that are anticipatory. You really can't say a lot about these ideas because you will not know what the details of your project design, including methodology, will be until you have completed the HSR application process, which you're really not in the beginning. You're not in a position to even start. And so Dr. Flynn will be entirely in charge of that once you get into 899 in the fall. So that first section is methods for analyzing the problem, describing the various considerations, possibilities, which elements do you want to use, which methods do you want to use. I hope you might say, I hope to be able to do a focus group, and this is how I will use the focus group. Again, you can't say much because you don't know for sure how that's actually going to work out. It will ultimately feed into chapter 4, which will be a detailed description of your project. The next short section will be results and contributions, where you're going to relate your expectations about what you hope to find. And you're not predicting what you're going to find, because that would be jumping into the conclusion to your project, which you haven't even started yet. But it's okay to have some expectations of the kind of results you hope to find. You may not find them, but you have some expectations of that. Ultimately, that will feed into chapter 5, which will be the chapter on findings, where you report the analysis of your data, et cetera, how you plan on using it going forward. Then, of course, another short section, evaluation of the project, the criteria you will use to evaluate how you analyze the data. And that's really, again, bumping into research methodology. You are anticipating. You can't state for sure. Please understand that at this point, no one's going to hold your feet to the fire when it comes to your proposal. It's just a way of introducing what you hope to be able to do. It's ultimately the way that Dr. Flynn will assign your chair. So these will be short sections, 2 or 3 paragraphs, maybe a page. Think in terms of a page. And then you will finally have at the end, as you will for every chapter of your dissertation, a section called summary that summarizes everything you just said. It doesn't repeat it, it summarizes it in clear and concise terms. And once again, just a short section. You will use the blank template in the course resources. Again, we discussed in some detail the issues surrounding that last Tuesday night. You probably will compose your sections in another document and then copy and paste into the blank template. Please remember, as you do, the Microsoft Word settings from your original document will be copied as well. That's why I recommended you look at the little video I provided you under Microsoft Word tutorials on how to change those settings in Word. So it's not going to give you problems down the road. Don't change the template. If you change the format of the heading, if you change something in the table of contents, anything you change will just basically unravel the blank template. So just copy and paste, just insert, copy and paste, and it will be great. I think it's okay to have a template that already deals with pagination issues, already provides a table of contents, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's going to be what you will use to begin to flesh out your full proposal. The whole idea of putting together then a proposal is extremely important in academic research and writing. So you are convincing, first of all, Dr. Flynn, that you're ready to go when it comes to your project and when it comes to your dissertation. And then ultimately it provides the needed introduction to your appointed chair. Remember, as we discussed on Tuesday night, the chair will determine whether or not your proposal and when your proposal will be officially chapter 1. So in your mind, you're composing chapter 1, but as will be true with every chapter in the dissertation, you will work together with your chair to make that official. So we're at a very important point in our process. Remember, if we're still working together on any of those 2 big sections of your proposal, we'll complete that work together. But in the meantime, begin to compose those shorter sections, which will be a lot easier than what you have done so far. I will be happy to interact when you submit a first draft of your proposal. I'll provide you feedback as always, and to make sure that whatever we send together to Dr. Flynn will be really, really excellent and will set you up for success in 899. So be sure to let me know if you have any questions this coming week. It is my joy and my honor to partner with you in this very important process. God bless you, everybody. Just have a great week.